A fun night at the Montgomery County Music Festival with friends and family. A time to get away from it all. Take a selfie. But look in the background. There's the guy Melissa Britton says is her stalker.
It should never be this hard to be safe.
I didn't ask you to come over, and at this point, it's just like, it's very violating. I'm asking for space, and you're not giving it to me in any way.
Melissa stands in her Woodlands driveway telling that very same guy, her ex-fiance, to leave her alone. She says she dated Jeff Griffin but ended the relationship when he allegedly grew increasingly controlling and abusive, even in the bedroom. When she broke it off, she says he wouldn't leave her alone.
Jeff, you're scaring me at this point.
Melissa's daughter recorded this encounter a few days after Melissa had Jeff move out of her house.
Your wife and my mom are talking to him, and Elizabeth's telling him to leave anymore.
He ended up getting a DUI, and then after that, really things really fell apart. He became more petulant and controlling.
Melissa ended their live-in relationship on January 4th, moved her family out for a few days, and told him to be gone.
I told him very clearly I needed space, I needed days, I needed him to stop calling, stop coming by, stop texting, stop reaching out to my family, and he just wouldn't stop.
On January 7th, he called from her driveway.
I'm at your house.
I know, I just got a phone call from Gracie. I'm not gonna tell you where I'm at. I'm not gonna see you. I'm not gonna talk to you today.
On January 10th, he showed up again.
Go. Let's go.
According to a victim statement we obtained, Melissa wrote that Jeff had called her 16 times, texted her 40 times in the previous 4 days.
Jeff, I'm not going to see you in person today.
You have to.
No, I don't.
She called the Montgomery County Sheriff for help. They did not issue a trespass warrant.
I hoped that everything would calm down.
She claims the harassment got worse, Snapchat messages and letters to her family.
And then began to threaten me through my work and personal email addresses that he was going to send that letter to all of my colleagues and friends and do whatever he needed to do to ruin my reputation.
Melissa finally went on Facebook to warn other women, she said. Jeff allegedly responded by threatening to post compromising pictures online, what Melissa considered to be revenge porn. She called Sheriff Henderson's office again.
And every time they would ask me to secure additional information and I would do that, then the bar would raise. I just could never quite get enough information to them to help me.
And she called several more times.
The tone very much was, there's really nothing you can do. This isn't really illegal.
She hired Lone Star Forensics to examine her electronics, and they backed up her fears that her phone had been hacked.
It was determined that most likely there had been a cloned device created and that someone had deleted all of the text messages between Jeff and me.
But that still wasn't enough for Montgomery County to file charges or sound like they even cared.
I think the first policeman that showed up after taking the information, and Melissa was visibly upset and crying, and when it all finished, he said, "Well, I guess don't meet a guy at a bar next time." I mean, the comments we got like that through this whole process were astounding.
We have asked for the body camera video to see just how deputies actually handled Melissa's concerns, but Sheriff Henderson told us it will take 14 weeks to look at it. The injustice continued. Melissa went to family court in Conroe to get a protective order. Her lawyer was confident.
She believed with the evidence that I had, along with incidents of domestic violence, she believed it would be a slam dunk.
It wasn't. The associate judge just gave Jeff a warning, but within a week, that music festival and her ex lurking in the background of that photo. It was back to court, to the presiding judge, Tracy Gilbert, who denied her latest request for help. The decision just reeks of family injustice. Judge Gilbert should have never ruled in this case, and his continued conduct up at that courthouse is simply wrong. You see, Melissa's ex had Steve Jackson as his lawyer, and Melissa says even her lawyer thought that could spell trouble.
She let me know that Steve Jackson and Judge Gilbert had somewhat of a personal relationship.
You could tell she was nervous about it too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer was there's really nothing that can be done about it.
Do you think that people that oppose you have a right to know that you represented the judge?
We make so many friends here at Dolcefino Consulting.
All right, well, have a good day.
Steve Jackson was Judge Tracy Gilbert's personal lawyer years ago when he got sued for paternity, and Jackson got the judge out of paying back child support. The media has been questioning their relationship, their conflict, since at least 2011. The Gilbert-Jackson courtroom combo has worked nearly 200 cases since then. We've taken it upon ourselves to file a complaint with the State Commission on Judicial Conduct because it simply needs to stop. At the very least, be disclosed to everyone who appears in his court. Judge Gilbert should watch this video of Griffin allegedly cruising by her house for several minutes on a boat after that latest protective order denial.
You know, so I got stalked at the lake house as recently as June 8th.
And it's not the only reason Melissa came away from her experience with Judge Gilbert hurt even more, because deeply personal details, including allegations of sexual misconduct, were made public for everyone to see.
When I filed the protective order and put lots of details that I never dreamed that they would be able to be accessed by the public.
The district clerk tells us they only sealed the details if the judge orders it sealed, and Tracy Gilbert did not.
I cannot tell you how many people have told me that I need to leave the county to secure my own safety as a single woman.
At this point, I wish Melissa could get her protection that she deserves. She is very much a victim, and she's very much being abused.
Susie Schneider should know. She was married to the very same guy for 21 years until their divorce in 2021. Listen to her story. She has pictures of bruises.
When I left the residence, he chased me out of the house with the table. He had it over his head and he ran out of his house, and I have a witness.
Susie accuses Griffin of stalking her ever since. Sound familiar?
And it was then that we started to get nails in our tires.
Look at these tire repair receipts and the letter J scratched into her car. Jeff, you remember, is his first name.
So I have 4 or 5 dents on the side passenger door of my car from him, and the J is in those dents.
We heard the same thing from yet another woman who filed a complaint against Jeff Griffin.
They told me that have you ever thought about just leaving?
The single mom was a tenant in Griffin's house and claims he opened a life insurance policy in her name using her bank information with himself as the beneficiary.
I was so traumatized I couldn't even go to work for 2 days. I was terrified, absolutely terrified.
Montgomery County didn't file charges that time either.
If Montgomery County had actually contacted you, you would have followed up on this complaint.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Why did you come to us?
I couldn't get help elsewhere.
Every single person I have talked to is shocked at how this has been handled.
I live in the Woodlands, the best city in the U.S., and after going through this situation, I do not feel that way anymore. I do not feel safe.
There is a disturbing pattern in Montgomery County. Remember, Sheriff Henderson lost his bid for re-election this year, in part because of the way his office mishandled a welfare check on an alleged abused woman. A baby died from the beatings in that case. In Melissa's case, the DA has never pressed stalking charges. The judge has a conflict that's obvious to everyone. The failure we're exposing is county-wide. And what's really weird is that this guy, Jeff Griffin, seems to think that beating protective orders is something to celebrate, bragging on Facebook. He says he's 3-0.
He referred to himself as Teflon Don after beating the POs in Montgomery County.
If I can't secure my own safety in the Woodlands, I assure you there are others that cannot secure their safety, and I want to help put light on this, because this is
Totally unacceptable.
totally unacceptable.